Hello, welcome everybody. What is up? I hope you're having a great time wherever you are in the world, whenever you are watching this video. Welcome to my guide on how to get started in PvP Tournament Arena. Now, this PvP Tournament Arena guide is not an advanced one. It's at the very, very basic end of how to play PvP Tournament Arena, as in the teams and competition. Isn't going to go over the game mode in detail and try to explain all the facets of that game mode, because what can actually happen is that they will change and update how the Tournament Arena specials and everything like that work. The one thing you just need to remember is the team compositions and how you play, because as things might change in the game and everything like that, this feeling of, or the understanding of strategy and how you think is still vitally important. And once you start understanding, having that click in your head, and you then start to understand the mechanics of the game and all the different characters, you can then, I guess, take things to a more advanced level, probably further than even I can. So I just want to share some of my experience in really this first tournament. Well, it's actually the third one that I've been in. It's come up. The first one I had no idea what I was doing. I was like the first week I was playing the game, so it was well beyond me, and I got completely obliterated from any time that I went in. The second time I played, still didn't really know much. I was also a very busy time for me with work and everything like that, and I didn't get anywhere near uh, the much time to play it as best I could, and I was still lost. I had no idea what I was doing. So now by this third one, I spent a fair bit more time investing and understanding, and I want to share some of that with you and hopefully help you if you're at a similar place where you just don't understand PvP Tournament Arena and you want to play it because you like the idea of PvP, but you just don't know where to start. But this is what this video is for. It's not for the more advanced things, trying to tell you how to use specifically this or that toon. This is purely for starting out. So if you're into that, you want to learn this, please like, subscribe, watch this video, support me, put your comments in there. And you know what? Let's talk and let's figure out some of these things together as well for PvP tournament. Maybe we can help each other. So I'd love to hear your feedback, especially on some of the battles I might do eventually here. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. The first one we're going to talk about is team composition. Yeah, you may have the best toons and everything like that, but what you need to remember that is in Tournament Arena, there are those levels, common, uncommon, etc., etc., etc. It goes up and up. From there, that means there are limitations, and they're basically what they say they're going to do. They're trying to force you to be able to have, you have to have skills to play in this, and maybe you don't have some toons unlocked. So you go against someone with Celestine. I did a few times against Celestine. It wasn't the end of the world. I was still able to beat them. Yes, there is a benefit to having certain toons over somebody else's. For example, like if I had, which I do, I have Marnius Calga, and someone else, they don't have that. They have all basic, normal, unlockable toons that you kind of start the game. Yep, that can happen. It's a little bit of a disadvantage, but it's actually, I got beaten by several people that didn't have those things. So they had decent skills. They also they played the battles well. So it's actually not that big of a disadvantage playing against people who have spent money on the game. In this, it actually comes down to your team composition and how you play to the strength of that team composition per the map. I mean, that's what I actually do like about this draft thing, where you've got 7, and then you only end up getting to pick 5 based on whose turn it is in the map and all that kind of stuff. So the team composition are actually broken. You can break it down into, I guess, elements or roles in that team. Now, the team composition I'm going to go over here is actually based on a team composition provided by a fellow alliance member of mine. And that's actually what he also really got me on this path when I watched this video of his on how to build a team for PvP and get a tier list. And the tier list is just his feelings on it as well. You'll have a different, maybe yourself might have different feelings on what you think is amazing, good, okay, etc., etc. And you know what? Please put a comment down below. Just tell me what you think is your amazing team that you just went really, really well with. I'd love to hear it. Love to know, and even love to know why you did really well with it. What was your overall thinking strategy? That would be really cool to learn, because I'm still learning so much, and I'd love to hear from you what that might be. So please do tell me. But the elements that I was talking about, the first one is Overwatch. Second one is AoE. The third one, stealth. Fourth one, summon. And the fifth, rounding it out, is buffing. Now, breaking down those elements of a team composition, it's very important to, as like all teams in sports, real life and work, and everything like that, it's important to have balance in the team, people's roles. So these elements there and the characters' roles in what they play there, you then got to play to those strengths as per the map and as per your opponent's team that they have chosen. You can react to that a bit as well. But having the 7 to choose from and then only 5 on the battle gives you a bit of flexibility if you build a team that has these elements, has the balance to react based on what you'll see probably your opponent doing. So, what does that mean? Well, what does that really look like? Say, me in my case, I don't know about your account, what you have access to, but what I had access to going into this tournament, I had access to the following team for my 7, which was Yarrick, Archimados, Marnius Kalgar, Ul, Calandus, Shosil, and Ravas. Now, LF was on that list originally, and I didn't have Ravas in there. I found Ravas a bit too hard, but once I started understanding how she worked, changed things, I dropped the left out because I didn't need that extra spawnable toon. It just wasn't working. There wasn't enough chemistry, enough balance, whatever you want to call it. It just wasn't. It was just too much. And Archimados, Yarrick, and that did a lot better job for me. So kept them in there. Obviously had Marnius Kalgar, the man, the myth, the legend. Just want to throw him up there because you know what? He's dope. Look at how good this is. I just love looking at this here. It's a great toon. Made it really well. And you know what? Also, I love Reavers too. I like that. I've been a big fan of Tau, Space Marines, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So really loved having her there. Shosil, similar kind of thing. But team composition is mightily important. And then using that to the map. As already said, I just want to reiterate just how important that is. So what you want to kind of look for, Overwatch. In my opinion, you almost want 1 or 2 of these. And because the Overwatch capabilities of, if you can do it, if you can have Calandus and Ravus, that's actually really good because Calandus is a typical Overwatch where you're gonna have the ability to put her, move her, and then she'll go into Overwatch, just like all the other Overwatch toons mostly. But Ravus doesn't have that. She just has where she can keep shooting for a whole turn when you spawn them, which you can see here from her ability. So she's not a typical Overwatch character, but she's a very powerful Overwatch character, which you shouldn't use to help you maneuver. She isn't a typical Overwatch character, my experience. I could be completely wrong here. Nox doesn't really talk about this, and it's probably maybe assumed thing from people using it in Arena for so long. But what I found out is that Ravus isn't your typical Overwatch toon. You want to think about her as like, when you pop those drones out there for control, you want to use them in a place where you're in a choke point, and you want to be able to outmaneuver and get to the high ground, or get another toon in position because they're going to be too afraid to come forward because they're going to get blasted by Ravens. And then in a few battles, I'll be able to show you how I once I come to understand that about Ravens, how I did that. Calandus, on the other hand, is a bit of a different Overwatch toon in my experience. What I really liked about Calandus in a really small map, especially with those power-ups, is that you could basically steal away from power-ups on people. So I would like run up, take a shot. I could take a big hit from another person's Calandus, then run to another, I'd lose my shield, and I would get my shot off, drop their shield as well. Then I'd move off to another spot, and then I could come in with like Shosil, whatever, and take a long shot. That happened very well. I don't think I've caught all those, but that was really good. But you could still take away from somebody picking up one of those power-ups, which then gave them a shield up 1 turn. So you could then take that away from them. And also Calandus was also another really good way. Sometimes I did sacrifice it, not always the best thing, but she does have that function when someone moves into range with her, first attack in melee, she can hit them back, and she hits pretty damn hard. Almost drop like most of the characters when you're playing at this common level. So she does a really good job at that level. Not to be underestimated at all. So when she does get charged forward and there's just like one character charging forward her, you can almost take them out. So, and then you can finish that character up. So sometimes you take away 2 power-ups, and if you the power-ups like health or defense combined, that person coming into close range aren't actually going to kill you. You're going to survive that. Then you should be able to move it back depending on how the rest of the map goes. So she can tank a fair bit. Shosil, not really an Overwatch character, but I want to kind of think about her as a bit of an Overwatch, but also a summoner, because she can be really annoying to deal with, especially early on in the game. If someone doesn't get a power up, you can basically almost kill them straight away. Almost, not all the time, but this can almost kill them straight away. So, and because of that, she's kind of an Overwatch character because people don't want to be in range of her because those marker drones, those drones that she's got, they hit bloody hard. They hit bloody hard. So it's almost long. It's long range, summon and Overwatch kind of combined. You can really control the field with Chosen. Very important, very useful character. So then after we got Overwatch, let's keep it in order there. We got AoE. Now, I really only had one AoE tune going into this tournament arena. That tournament arena character was the man, the myth, the legend. As I said, Marnius Calgar. Now, this guy, when he opened up with this, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. And he just goes, rips apart. It is amazing. I love it. And he also gives, a buff. So if you put him there between Calandus and Chosil or even Ravas, you can pump out some serious damage. You can pump out some serious damage. Anyone else got around, even if bloodletters get nearby to you as well, you're in the thick of it. He is amazing. Oh, I've loved having him. Really, really flexible. Does really, really well for me. And then he's really my only AoE. Now, I would have loved to have been able to get Thaddeus, but I haven't unlocked him yet, unfortunately. Hoping to get him sometime. Morven Val and Vindicta, two ladies that could do a lot of work for me. I do have Morven Val at Legendary. I'd love to get her up. I just haven't found enough use in all different other game modes, and right now, where I'm at with the game, I can't get up. So I might try her out a bit more in the next tournament arena, but I'm pretty good now with just having the one AoE character. I don't think you need too many AoE characters. In my opinion, I think that the one is more than enough to deal with, especially when you've got the likes of Wolf. You typically want lots of AoE characters when you're dealing with lots of spawns and everything like that. But Wolf kind of takes that away and gives you the flexibility of really high damage output as well as handling summons. And you don't need that AoE. So you put Wolf and you put Marnius Calgar together right next to each other, you can really control how someone uses their Archimatos and the left, etc. So, my opinion, don't think you need too many AoEs. You don't really want to have that. You really want to be controlling the zones a lot more with some other characters. Now, to get around some people with Overwatch, stealth is kind of the way you can do it. I had a little bit of success with Jark, but I didn't really find it too good. I got to play around with, get used to it. But people did have a lot of. I did see Jark running a lot, and he was a little bit of a menace to deal with. To be honest, he wasn't massively a menace because he take a fair bit of hits, and he can do a lot of damage, and he can move you out of position. Which again, when I talk about like field of the battle and controlling it, it can be pretty important. Even if he doesn't kill you with that and doesn't bring you closer to his, it's still you're now in a position which you probably didn't want to be in. So, honorable mention there for Jark. I had some troubles with him, but I think from what Nox is saying, Morgan Ra, Jane Zar and Sybil do really well there. Sybil gives them people stealth, which is really cool. So I'm going to work on Sybil probably for my next one. Give me a bit of balance. I think I need a stealth tune. I was missing that, so some battles I was really struggling. And I'd probably drop out maybe Shosil or Calandus at that point, depending on the match. So definitely think about a stealth character for yourself. Jark should be within reach. I think they go at 2 or 4. I can't remember what it is for common level. I think it might be 2-star. So it shouldn't be too hard for you to get. Then moving on from stealth, we're going to be thinking about summoners. Yeah, everyone loves good summoners. You got these 3 summoners are probably, you've got Yarrick, Archimatos on the left. Probably your 3 most common ones. and I saw them probably the majority of the time. You've got Bellator obviously coming in there as well. He's okay. Not so good in the PvP tournament arena, especially his damage often stacks a lot later on, and you really gotta, if you're waiting that many turns to be able to use him, and on a tight map, it's really hard, but still not terrible. You can definitely get a good use out of him. I saw a lot of people use him still really quite well. Definitely really good. But yeah, I think the primo to probably Yarrick and Archimados, and you can almost call Shosil as Nox does as well. But Celestine she was really, really tough. But I still won some of the battles that I had against her with Celestine. So look, it's not super difficult to deal with. And I wouldn't be too worried if you did see someone come up there with Celestine. Wouldn't worry about too much. The other category that he mentions, I think buffing one now. I'm not really sold on this category, to be honest. I never had a need for buffing, but if you have Unshi, then I think it really matters, and it's a really important element to have. If you have Unshi and Eldron, and you can make that work within the composition. I'm going to be using Eldron in my 7, and I'll be using him depending on who I've got. But I think buffing can be a little bit of a tricky one to balance, because the other reason I didn't really need it and use it as much, because I had Marnie as Kalga, and as I said before, Marnie as Kalga gives me the AoE and the buffing, and he's pretty good at close combat as well, and he's thick, so he kind of covered the two elements and balanced those together. However, he doesn't do his AoE permanently, so you've got to make sure you time that right, otherwise you screw things up. So you've got to be able to trick your opponent, get them into those kind of awkward situations, and again, it's about controlling maps, so you need to funnel them. Sometimes I did a really good job of that, and probably most of the other times I didn't. So again, buffing can be kind of good, but it really depends on what you have available. Markotep, I think, is a pretty good budget one for a lot of people free to play. That makes it left, brings it left back into the conversation of summoner tune, because he can make those droids move again, and that can sometimes be good, because now you got 3 all of a sudden, and maybe really rarely get 4. So yeah, that's the team element composition. Let's get talking now to some examples. All right, let's get into it. First battle. For this first battle, I was against Lehman Russ here. This is, I can't remember the name of this snow map. I don't remember all the names. But I had the high ground advantage. So the terrain was in my favor here. It was a hard match. I had a really good placement there for Flanders and Yarrick and Akimados. So I was quite happy with that. He's come forward there on the, I guess, the left or right flank, depending on which way you're looking at from it. So I realized, well, I can put Calgar down there, and then I can basically start working on getting control of these bonus drops. And so what I went for then, well, Calanders can get a bonus shot here. I can work on his Calanders, who's going to overwatch me and shoot me, but I'll still survive because I pick up the shield, then the overwatch hits me. Yep, but then I can take her out, and then I can move to the other one, get my shield, whilst preventing Showsteel from getting it too. Perfect placement there, allowed me have that luxury. Then I shouldn't have used my special there. That was a big mistake. I think I was meaning just to have a look at the range of it. Again, because I'd forgotten I'm still getting used to Calgar. And I put Showsteel in a good spot. Clandis in a good spot. Clandis actually is probably like that. I can't remember, but I think I'm going to lose her here very shortly because he's going to swarm her. But I have put him in an interesting predicament there because now he lost his looks like the extra health is helping her and extra damage. Oh, yep, she's hanging in there. She's hanging in. But his Ulf just smashed my Archimados. That hurt. Ulf is such a good character in the smaller type modes where they're a bit weaker, but thankfully I had the advantage of the extra damage there from Showsteel to be able to get rid of him. And now I can start placing my spawnables, even though I lost Archimados. At this point, Calandis is in a lot of trouble, but I'll take what I can to get before I go down. Yeah, so I'm about to lose Calandis. That's fine. She took 2 bonuses. from them, and whilst also getting rid of their Calandus and putting in a lot of damage before she went down. So I'm very happy with her performance there. That was probably what sealed the game for me, and at this point now it's just clean up. So that was when I controlled that field there just simply by Calandus and how quickly she changed the thing, the match by moving twice. So GG to Limeras. That one, unfortunately, I just had the the upper hand there with the map and the placement, and Calandus being able to get to them. That was really the key. Yeah, it's a good match for that one. All right, let's go Darth Furial. Here we go. Now, this one was a very close one, where it was very, very close. Good battle. I mean, this one I think is a lot to do with that high ground there that you get, fortress-looking area, I guess what you want to call it. It's a lot about controlling that choke point there. There's the bridge as well, and it's the access paths into that fortress, obviously being listed too. So then how do you control that and ensure that you have that control? I don't think I executed that as well as I could have. I made some good plays, and they made some little mistakes as well. I think the big key mistake for them there was moving up Ravus, which is what a lot of people do. I've seen do quite often. But because I had range units over there, I probably would have been inclined to hang back so that when you move into it, you can get that shield. Either way, I could have brought my Calandus forward. Argument against that, I brought my Calandus forward and put myself in Overwatch, and then he could never got there. So there's pros and cons, I guess, to both. In this situation, me being able to put Revis there after he'd done his Revis meant that I controlled the moving forward, for him to move forward, and I had that control at choke point, and he couldn't really do much. When I moved Calandus back there, moved up and then back, the idea was to try and bring in Revis or in Wolf, get them to come up closer, to draw them in a bit, but keep my Calandus at a safe distance that, one, they wouldn't get hit by Overwatch, and then two, that I could counterattack once they exposed someone, just like they did there with Revis. And so that was the idea there, and it worked out well. What I was really silly in doing was going too hard at it now and bringing Yarrick and Revis out and putting them basically in the firing line when they didn't need to be. So the reason for Revis over there charging her forward, well, she had the thing getting dropped on her, so she was probably going to die anyway. So I just thought, well, I'll take a hit on Calandus. I should have just done a long range hit so Calandus didn't get a big hit on it, but I still would have lost Revis either way. Yarrick, though, was a dumb move, but at this point, he has also left Shosil out there in the open for me, which then I'm able to go now finish Shosil. So Shosil will die because I've got the target on her, so it's trade blows, and what they'll leave with Calandus is his only range unit left. So now I have the range advantage, and I have a close combat character and someone who can deal with all his spawners too. So I'm trying to lure him to come out at this point and make him bring Yarrick to me, because I'll have the high ground over his troops. And I can basically do a big AoE on them. What I didn't remember when I was going to go do that was I was meant to move back one and then do my AoE, not do my special AoE whilst next to Ulf, because you can imagine what's going to happen when I do my special right next to Ulf. Wow, wow, wow. That's not a good idea. Yeah. That didn't work out. Big mistake. Don't ever do that, kids. Don't do that at home, children. Anyway, it's a tough battle at this point, because really he's got some firepower here, but thankfully, because Shosil was able to spawn in some extra units, the AI typically likes to go for your spawnables with their spawnables. So basically, I was able to then just ensure they got rid of Yarrick, brought it down to a one-on-one with Calandus, and Shosil versus Calandus at this level, one-on-one. It's going to be pretty easy on, because I've got droids taking the hits from me, and I can just kill her off. So yeah, it came down to him making a mistake, I made a mistake. We all got a little bit, but then I made a huge mistake there with Yarrick. Made a mistake by putting Yarrick down the bottom there, and also Calga. All right, guys. Next battle we're going to go into now. All right. This next one is against Illidan. Now, in this battle, I do not have the terrain advantage, but I am going first, and I am going to be able to put down the last unit after I see what he does. So I always think that's quite a unique dynamic. I've done a very risky move here, rushing forward with Calanders and Calgar. He could actually move quite closely there and get me with Calanders, and she's in the barbed wire. Thankfully, Calanders has a bit of a bonus there, obviously being in negative terrain, so there is that. And if I did get rushed forward, there is the opportunity for her to counterattack. So yeah, that's going to be still a bit risky. I didn't put on Overwatch on my Rivas, which I think is a bit of a mistake since I rushed forward. I should have put in between Calgar and that. But since I did that, I risked Ravas there for him to run forward with Vindicta, which paid off well for him. Calgar was able to take it like a champ, as he usually does. Now, I'm in a bit of a disadvantage. They've rushed forward. So what do I need to do here? I need to react to that, and I've taken in Archimados. Let's spawn them straight away. Let's bring the battle back under my control. Take Showseal back. Get rid of Ethana. Not so bad looking now. I can get rid of his Vindicta, and there we go. We're in a much better place now than we were just then. However, it's still not over. Volt can still do a fair bit of damage. Bellator can do some summons, and we can still be in a bit of trouble. So, Calandus here is going to probably have to sit here and take this quite hard, because they're going to go for her, because she can just start one-shotting most of the team. It's okay. I still have Showseal to get me through. Calgar does a big AoE. Not so effective against these units due to their high armor and health, that sort of thing. He's really good at just cleaning up, especially with that AoE when there's a lot of summons and a lot of other units at low health come in there and mass spray. So still got the win because I took that control initially by bringing Archimados straight out. That's the power of Archimados. You can just start bringing back the battle really quickly if you use him right. All right, going into against X Omega X. Here I've got the terrain advantage. And I had a good spawn there with starting off with Archimados, Calandus, and Calgar. He has gone with a pretty balanced setup, focused down the left flank there, or the right flank, depending on which way you want to look at it. But yeah, on that flank there, on that side, basically, with him going there, looking at doing that, he's also put Vindicta out in his right wing, just to really control if I wanted to try and clump up there and go around there. He's put Rivas there and Overwatch on that left side. So what that means is I need to then obviously be careful. I can't really go down into that valley area, which I'm not really going to do because I got the high terrain. So it's not really the greatest option. He's kind of set himself up there because you can use the spawnables like Archimados there to get he's not going to shoot the spawnables. So I was able to get around that. He now loses the Overwatch. I'm in the Overwatch and I'm watching the valley. I've got the high ground, and I've also taken the other side of the flank. I'm in a good shooting position. I've taken 2 power-ups with Calandus. I'm in a pretty strong position at this point in time. His Reaver's still really good. I did put, going through the middle there, that was with Archimados, that was a risk. But I wanted to take away his Overwatch functionality and do damage to those drones and give him something he has to work on, whilst I still have a bit of the range of advantage to bring Calgar in there and slowly then pick them off and keep them in the lower terrain. So I'm controlling that whole valley zone and forcing him to come to me now. So there was a lot of outmaneuvering there that went on, and setting yourself up to make sure that you take advantage of that terrain. Remember, Reavers don't use it always straight away, depending on what you think. The opponent's not going to always come rushing forward for that. So if you spawn the summonables right next to Reavers' drones, they're not going to be able to counterattack. So yeah, keep that in mind when you use it. But that was a good battle. Went really well, obviously in my favor there for those last 2. But we're now going to look at someone where I just was making some really dumb decisions, guys. I made some really bad calls, learned a lot, and a lot of these battles were at the start of this season. And then things start to click. So some of these wins you're seeing are at the other end of it, whereas the losses here will show you some of the ways that I started to figure out things that I'm talking about right now. So you're going to see how it goes badly, and where you might be able to see yourself doing some of these similar strategies. What you need to remember is that when you're playing Tournament Arena, you're playing against, like I said earlier, playing against other people. You need to try and figure out how to control the zone with what the units you have. And remember, you don't need to just keep rushing forward. Humans aren't always going to make the same dumb mistakes that AI does. So learn about your shooting, your ranges, the distance you need there, and then the terrain bonuses, because if you're playing it like common, uncommon, and you keep going all the way up, you're all at the same stuff, unless someone's going with a lower geared tune or something like that. But you're all at the same level, so that means when you're shooting at them, damage isn't going to be crazy high like if you're in arena when you out rank that person, or if you're coming with under done characters in arena. It's kind of like that's really hard. But if you're used to with normal arena where you've kind of got like an even footing, then you're going to be okay. You're going to understand some of these mechanics. But yeah, just remember that in this situation, your characters aren't always going to be as strong as what you may be used to them in the normal part of the game. So you have to treat them a bit like that. And a lot of characters that are range characters, especially at common and uncommon, they're going to drop your good tunes with almost one shot, like Calandus and Shosil. So yeah, so just remember that, and you'll see a lot of that happen here in this in my losses where I played too aggressively with some of my tunes. But yeah, I won't talk about that too much. I've already harped on about that a lot earlier. Now we're going to go straight to these losses, and I'll explain where I've kind of really I lost the plot, and I just was not making right decisions. And you can have a bit of a laugh at me and call me out. And, again, please comment on any of my ideas, thoughts, strategies, tips. Please share them. Help everyone else here get better. All right, let's go look at these amazing losses. So, see how well I did here with the losses. All right, first one against Mendaga. He's got a good choice there. Thaddeus, put him in there with more health. Moved Revis up there, puts it in Overwatch with the droid. Droid comes in there straight away, looking at trying to expose my Calgus. I put Revis there, trying to control that right flank so that I can then work on his left flank there. But by putting Calandus in there and then shooting, I kind of don't stop them from being able to move straight through the middle there. So that was a really dumb decision. I was able to get rid of some there, but it wasn't really worth it because I put in 3 people when I know they could just rush through the middle there with their Vindicta. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. What did I expect was going to happen here? I did not use this team in the right way. I did not space them out and ensure that I maybe make crossing lanes of fire. I didn't try to use the terrain to my advantage. Didn't try to do anything. I literally just tried to move forward as if I was playing against a computer. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. You can't do this against humans. We are smart enough to see that and take advantage of that. I just went straight into the normal mode and moved forward there. So this is exactly what I'm talking about there. You've got to treat your humans, human opponents, proper humans. Like, you can't do the normal thing you do against a computer. That was a bad move. Even the computer probably punished me massively for that. So, yeah, it was a dumb move. What I should have done was just try to control one area. Like, he'd spread himself out. But anyway, we're going to go into this one. This map is a very interesting one. You can't go on that left side. You can't come down there. So you only really got that bridge. And then the right side's also very narrow. So in this map, I actually have quite the advantage of having Revis, Shosil, Aleph, Yarrick. And if I brought in Calandus as well, I've got a lot of firepower to what he's got, which isn't too much. He's mostly got close combat units. There's no range for him. There he goes. He's gone pretty much all close combat. So all I need to do now at this point is in control and pick them off as they come forward. But what do I do? What am I going to do? Yeah. What am I going to do? Let's see what I'm going to do here. What do I do? Yep, I go forward. What I should be doing is controlling that right flank and then using, drawing them in, especially because Shark isn't slow, but he isn't super fast. So he's going to bring Harkin Worldclaimer. What I would need to do is just make sure I use Shosil's ability to get rid of Vindicta. And then I can kind of bunch up and consolidate in one spot. And then their spawns are going to have a lot of trouble kind of spawn. I can really just outgun them. But did not take advantage of that. Like that whole left side there, like, yeah, you can walk through it. It's got difficult terrain with the barbed wire, but like you can't really go through it. Like it's an annoying place to go through. So, yeah, I get what I get here. This loss, this was lots of dumb plays in a row. And yeah, when you take this team, when you balance it, have a good balance there, You don't want to play into the strengths of the other team, which in this case was primarily an assault team. He just wanted to get in there and attack and have some fun doing battles, which is fine. But when you're actually taking a proper balanced team, you've got to play with a bit of strategy. So yeah, completely fair. There's nothing really further to say here at this battle at this moment. I kind of like this map. It actually heavily favors when you have a bit of a range army and have some strong close combat like Ulf in there, and maybe Archimados. And you can kind of really control that whole valley area. And even on attack, you can sort of control your lanes. They're going over the bridge and stuff. So it's a pretty cool map. Quite interesting in competition. You can see we've played for quite some time, even though I had gotten smashed, basically. The guy took a while too much to clean up. But it goes to show the map is a pretty good map. You just got to get good at it. Well, I've got to get good at it. So there is that. Yeah. So this guy's just taking way too long to finish me off. I mean, because that's who's got close range. I've got a shooty army. So, I mean, look, I was able to come back because he didn't have the full competition, even though I made so many dumb plays. But there's no way Ravas is taking out Jark. He's gonna just destroy me. Unfortunately, if it was Shosa versus Jark, I think actually Shosa would do really well because the spawn's covering for him, they're covering for her, and then yeah, you can just get enough distance away and shoot him. So yeah, that was annoying loss. Then we go into this one now against Sister Rosa, Vindicta, Yarrick, and Harkin. Harkin's a great character there in the tournament. Very easy to play. Gets his damage, keeps getting boosted as he kills more things. So, you know, a good one for arena when you've got, especially when we're playing common, when that extra damage can then just mean he's just going around insta killing everything. So, yeah, he's definitely a great team. Didn't take him though. I didn't really feel it really balance things out too much, but he is very easy. Like for most people that are free to play, bring in, and most people are gonna have him juiced up because they're gonna need him for the 40k. So in this one, what I was trying to do is get control of those bridge power ups, but sometimes you lose focus by going after the power ups rather than playing to the strategy of the map. Power ups are good; they make a difference, but the strategy of what you play at is much more important. And what do I do here? I go and I just do that there, and I bring in Ravas right next to Ulf, who's just going to destroy the spawns. Okay, yeah, I'm going to target Vindicta. That's going to help me a little bit there, but really, at this point, I can't bring any spawns over there on the left flank where they're all bunched up at, and then I'm moving forward in front of Ravas, which was really dumb. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to take a shot. That was far enough distance away, and I kind of rushed it and botched that up massively, and then Ravas is dead. I've already used Calgar special. I'm kind of out of all the tricks now, and they're just going to basically finish me off. So this is, again, not playing to the strength of the team. What I should have done was hang back and just acknowledge that, again, it's mostly a close combat team with the exception of Ravas, and I could have outshot them, but I didn't play to that advantage. I did play that to that advantage in one that obviously I showed you in the wins. But these losses show you my earlier misunderstanding of the team and how to play it. And so sometimes when you're losing, it may not necessarily be the skill per se. It's more like the thinking of the strategy of the team and how you leverage that team on these maps. And so yeah, I wasn't doing that well. I wasn't doing any favors. I'm trying to show here that maybe your frustrations when you're playing in tournament arena, you're feeling the same things, you're doing the same things that I'm doing. But you know what? There's hope. You do get better if you ask some people, talk to people, watch some videos of other people struggling too or winning, doing well, and have a look and see what they're doing. Some of these things that I started picking up, I started watching others doing it. I started thinking about it, going, you know what? I'm going to try it. Doesn't really matter. I'm already losing, so why not just do this? Why not do this or that? And then you saw that in the wins. The losses here is I really had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't really thinking any plan strategy. I was just like what I was doing sometimes with when you're playing against a computer, the campaigns and stuff. I just hope that your gear advantages get you past. I mean, obviously there's a bit of strategy in the campaigns and stuff when you get higher level, but for the most part, you often try to just bash your way through it, and you can't really do that against a human. So you've really got to, like, this map here is really about that whole um, uh, tower area there, the fortress. Back from the days when you played on the tabletop, that's the fortress. I mean, they can't really show it from the top down, but I remember those are pretty cool when they first came out back in the tabletop back in those days. And yeah, controlling that fortress and how you attack it or how you defend it is really key, obviously, to the success of this map. More so than the power ups. Power ups, obviously, like I said, are really good. But what I did in my attack there, what I should have been doing is trying to sneak Calgar because where he spawned. Should have been trying to sneak Calgar around the side and really just tried to hold off on my attack based on that. So that basically I'm not like overstretched. I'm not trying to fight on too many fronts, and I can just pull them one or two of them out at a time. But yeah, I was too overstretched and I was trying to attack. That's just never going to work. So yeah, that's all the losses down there, guys. All right, guys, there we go. So there's all the basically gets in a quick overview of Tournament Arena and I guess the strategy and thinking and approach, looking at the teams, compositions, everything like that for the teams, and then me playing through, getting the wins, showing the losses, how not to do or use those teams. It is by no means an exhaustive way on how to play. It's my first Tournament Arena, so I've got a lot to learn, and I'd really appreciate anyone's comments there, and even some links to other videos, people, other content creators, because honestly, this was all sparked by NoxTempest. Big shout out to you, mate. Great video there talking about the teams, and then also your video on playing the battle. Amazing stuff. I learned a lot. I'm looking forward to, I'll rewatch those videos again coming up close to the next tournament. I'm going to take some of that knowledge that I learned, and I hope that anyone watching this as well that's getting started in Tournament Arena, maybe you're frustrated, you're really annoyed by that game mode. Believe me, I was there too. So, what I'm going to be doing in preparation for this next Tournament Arena is I'll show you what I've got. So, I've recently just picked up in drops Thaddeus. So, I only just got him, and I got a good amount of shards for him, which I was pretty stoked about. So, quite happy now. I've finally got Thaddeus. And so what I'm going to do work on is getting him up to the Iron rank. He's at Stone rank, obviously basic unlock. But I'm going to get him to Iron rank 1, at least, in time for the next arena. Because my main focus right now is working with Black Legion. I'll touch on all that in my account update. But yeah, I've got to be very focused with things right now to get me caught up. So I'm going to be working on him. I've been working on Tajark as well, because Tajark is a really good way to get around some of the Overwatch tunes, but I did fine without him. So it's not but I'm going to work on him. It's not hard to get him up to Iron rank 1. So yeah, he's basically those two are basically going to be there. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is Sybil, because Sybil, even though she's 4 stars, at common you only need 2 stars. So again, great way to start playing off in the PvP tournament arena. Even if you've been playing the game for a while and you're much higher than there, start off playing at common, playing some of these teams if you haven't fully unlocked them. Like you've got all these other tunes that are really high gear, but doesn't mean you have to play at those high levels. If you're getting frustrated because don't have the right team compositions or whatever, then don't play it. Play down lower. It's still playing and you're still getting better, and then you know those teams for what you need. So then I don't know if I can by the time for this next tournament. If I get those 2 up to Iron rank, what I want to do is probably look at getting Ravas up to and Shosil up to the Bronze 1, so then I can look at doing Uncommon. That would be the next tier up that I would like to do, but that's not going to probably be ready by the next tournament. That's probably going to be the next one that I'm going to look to move from Common to Uncommon, and I'm going to try and take the teams up with that. So that's my focus there. Everyone's going to be a little bit different how they approach that. Leave your comments and your thoughts, how you're preparing your PvP teams for Tournament Arena. What are you doing? Like, you're getting more badges? Like, what's your focus? Like, what's the new team that you've got that you really want to try out there in PvP Arena? Love to hear those thoughts. Tell me, share with your thoughts about NoxTempest video or the team comps that I was using. Love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, that's what I'll be working on for the next one, and I'll probably do a little bit of a video like this again, going over my experience. Did I change anything? Did I learn anything new? I'll keep sharing that with you guys, and hopefully we both all learn from this. So Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it again. Like, subscribe, and if you can support me, haven't done it yet, please use that referral code up top there. Appreciate the support, guys. Glad you're here to watch. Have a good one. See you guys.